Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have one more witness that is relatively short that's been here for a while, so I'd like to try and take that person if we can. So, Ms. Wolfson?
Yes, Your Honor. It's state called Samantha Eichas.
Samantha Eichas. Good afternoon, ma'am. If you'll come forward here to the front and raise your right hand, the clerk will administer the oath to you.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, ma'am, if you'll come right around here for me and have a seat. Once you're comfortable, if you'll scoot kind of up to that microphone, be sure to speak right into it and speak loudly so everybody can hear you, all right?
Okay.
Ms. Wolfson?
Good afternoon, ma'am. Could you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Samantha Eichas, Samanthaeichas.
Ms. Eichas, do you live here in Jacksonville?
I do.
And are you currently employed?
I am.
Where do you currently work?
Advanced Auto Parts.
In which, is there a particular location of Advanced Auto Parts that you work at?
The Bay Meadows location.
Now, Ms. Eichas, how long have you worked at Advanced Auto Parts?
A year and 4 months.
And what is your current job description there?
A delivery driver.
Could you explain to the jury what it means to be a delivery driver?
I bring parts from our store to local garages and businesses.
Now, Ms. Eichas, when you make those deliveries, do you use a company car?
I do.
Are there multiple company cars that you have at your disposal?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Eichas, I'd like to turn your attention to November 23rd of 2012. Were you working that particular night at Advanced Auto Parts?
Yes, I was.
Do you remember what hours you were working?
Normally a 1 to close shift, so 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 9 o'clock.
1 o'clock to 9 o'clock? Mm-hmm. And Ms. Eichas, if you could just make sure that you speak up into the microphone that's in front of you. Now, on that particular night, Ms. Eichas, at some point, did you leave the store and go get a cup of coffee?
Yes, ma'am.
Around what time was it when you left the store?
Around 7 o'clock, right around there.
Okay. And Ms. Eichas, where did you go to get your cup of coffee?
The Gate gas station on South Side.
Is that a Gate gas station that you are familiar with?
Yes, ma'am.
And how often do you go to that gas station?
4 times a week.
Now, when you left to go get a cup of coffee, what car were you driving?
My white work truck.
And that's a company car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, Ms. Eichas, I'm going to show you a photograph. This is State's Exhibit 3. Looking at State's Exhibit 3, can you explain to the jury where Advanced Auto Parts is?
If you go down South Side and take a right onto Bay Meadows, it's the next stoplight on your left-hand side.
Okay, and can you put a little line where Bay Meadows is on the screen? If you touch it, you should be able to mark it. So from where you were working at Advanced Auto Parts, which direction of travel did you take to get to the Gate gas station?
I was headed east.
Headed east on Bay Meadows?
Yes.
And then was your intention to turn left onto South Side?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Ms. Eichas, in looking at the intersection of Bay Meadows and South Side, and I know it's a little bit off of this photograph, did you stop at that light that night where you stopped?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were your windows up or down in the truck?
My driver's side window was down about 2 inches.
And what about the passenger side?
It was up.
Okay. Was anyone else in the truck with you?
No, ma'am.
And Ms. Eichas, did you have any music on?
No, ma'am.
Were you on the phone?
Yes, ma'am.
And who were you on the phone with?
My friend Jen.
Now, Ms. Eichas, as you were stopped at that intersection, actually strike that, what lane were you in when you were stopped at the intersection?
I was in the left-hand turning lane, but the right-hand lane to turn left.
Okay, so just for the jury's knowledge, are there 2 then left-hand turning lanes
Yes.
there? Okay. As you were stopped at that light, what did you hear?
I heard gunshots.
Could you tell where the gunshots were coming from?
No, ma'am.
And from where you were, could you see the gunshots at all, like the muzzle flashes or anything?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember how many gunshots you heard?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember if it was one big series of gunshots or multiple sets?
It was one big series.
Okay. Ms. Eichas, what did you do once the light turned green?
I took a left onto South Side and then took a right into the gas station parking lot.
And will you, you can draw on this as well to show the jury where exactly you turned right.
I turned left here and took a right into there.
And Ms. Eichas, this is now State's Exhibit 2. Is that up on your screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is this then just a close-up of that entrance into the gate station?
Yes.
And can you show the jury then where you went once you turned right?
I came in through here.
Ma'am, you need to speak into that microphone.
I came in through right here and parked right in front of the ice machine.
Okay, and just so the record's clear then, and based on what you drew, you turned right once you came into the entrance and then turned left up and parked in front of the gate gas station?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you park when you got to the gate gas station?
Right in front of the ice machine.
And once you parked, did you immediately get out of your truck?
No, ma'am.
What were you doing?
I was still on the phone with my friend Jen.
What did you notice as you were sitting in your truck?
I was sitting there finishing up my conversation and a red SUV pulled in next to me.
When that red SUV pulled in next to you, did they pull into the spot directly next to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you do once you noticed there was a car next to you?
I noticed that there were bullet holes in the side of the car, so my window was down a little and I asked if everybody was okay.
Ms. Eichas, I'm now showing you State's Exhibit 43. Does that picture look familiar?
Yes.
And what is that a photograph of?
The car that pulled up next to me.
So when you look to your left, this is what you saw?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Eichas, when you first asked if everyone was okay, were you still inside your truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Was anyone outside of the red SUV?
Yeah. The passenger side and I believe the driver also got out.
And those would be the front seats?
Yes.
And Ms. Eichas, I'm showing you State's Exhibit 4. Is that white truck your truck?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then State's Exhibit 8, is that a close-up?
Yes.
And Ms. Eichas, is that then exactly where you parked your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see where the two people out of the car were actually standing? Could you see where they were?
No, ma'am.
Okay, at some point, did you see where they were standing?
They were standing in front of the car once I had gotten out of the car.
And when did you get out of the truck?
I had gotten out of the truck after they said everybody was okay. I got out and I walked to the front of the red SUV, and that's when someone said, call 911.
When you got out of the truck, where were they located?
They were located, one, from my knowledge that I remember, one was in front of the truck next to me, and I don't know where the other one was.
Now, did you have an opportunity to observe their demeanor?
Yes, they looked shocked, is the way I could explain it.
And I believe, Ms. Eichas, you stated that at some point you called 911?
Yes, ma'am.
When was it that you called 911?
Right after someone said to call 911.
And where were you when you called 911?
Right in front of the ice machine, standing in front of the red truck.
After you were on the phone with 911, did rescue and Jacksonville Sheriff's Office members arrive on scene?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever see anyone else get out of the SUV or be taken out of the SUV?
Not that I noticed, no.
And Ms. Eichas, were you eventually asked to wait inside at the gate gas station?
Yes, ma'am.
And eventually, did you speak with a police officer that night?
I spoke to a detective, yes.
Have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Stroll across.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just one moment, Judge. Good afternoon, Ms. Eichas. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Safe to say, pretty chaotic scene that night.
Yes, sir.
People running around back and forth.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Were you a little shaken up yourself?
Yes, sir.
Ever been through anything like that before?
Never.
Ever have a car pull up next to you with bullet holes in it?
Never.
Ever been around anything that had bullet holes in it?
No,
Now, you actually work in the auto industry, auto parts?
I do.
Okay. How long have you done that?
Over a year.
Okay. And over a year now or then?
Now.
Okay. Back then, isn't it true when the red SUV pulled up next to you, they didn't come screeching their brakes or coming in fast or revving the engine? They kind of drove in. You didn't even notice they pulled in. True?
True, because I was on the phone. I really wasn't paying attention to it.
Right. And if a truck pulls in next to you at a high rate of speed and brakes hard, you would have looked over and noticed that, correct?
Yes.
And that did not happen, did it?
No, I just saw it out of my peripheral.
And the car was already stopped, or the truck was already stopped, excuse me.
Yes,
Is that fair to say?
yes.
Okay. Now, in that aspect, you actually look over and say, is everybody okay? And you get no response. Isn't that true?
No, someone had said yes.
Okay. And then nobody asked you to call 911 until you get out of your vehicle, correct?
Correct.
And you were in your vehicle for 30 seconds, a minute, still talking to your friend?
Roughly, yes.
Because matter of fact, you were telling your friend, oh my God, there's a truck next to me shot up.
Exactly.
All right. You're telling her kind of the story of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. You get out.
Yes.
They then tell you to call 911.
Yes.
And you said they seemed scared and shocked.
Just
something like
shocked.
that. Okay.
Like,
Did you call 911?
I did.
When you're on the phone with 911, are you still in almost a panic because of what's going on?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you watching what other people are doing?
No, sir.
Okay. Are you keeping track of where people are coming and going?
No, sir.
And you said you're in front of the ice machine, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can't testify, nor would you testify, where anybody was standing or where they were?
No, sir.
Now, when you called 911, did anybody have a cell phone in their hand?
Not that I recall.
All right. Do you recall which gentleman, what they looked like who asked you to call 911?
No, I do not.
Do you see what side of the truck they got out of?
All I remember is a gentleman getting out of the front passenger seat.
Okay. And that was the person that told you to call 911?
I do not recall who told me to
Oh,
call
I'm sorry. I
911.
apologize. You just remember him getting out.
Right.
What about the driver? Where'd he go?
I do not recall.
Even to this day, would you recognize him?
No.
Now, you were on scene for quite a while. I think they wouldn't even let you leave, correct?
Correct.
And one of the officers even said you had parked on some casings?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. You were driving your boyfriend's truck, correct?
No, I was driving my company vehicle.
All right. And did you have a chance when I did your depo to look over and have it reviewed? I think Mr. Guy read you the police report?
Yes.
And in that report, it was inaccurate. They said it was your boyfriend's truck, right?
Yes.
And it wasn't.
Right.
Did you ever tell him it was your boyfriend's truck?
No.
Okay. Now, after you get off the phone with 911, did you ever give your phone to somebody else to call 911, anything like that?
No, sir.
Did you ever give it to any of the guys driving the truck?
No.
You actually went in the store, correct?
Yes.
And at that point, did you call your boyfriend and tell him what was going on?
Yes.
Okay. And that was inside Gate Gas Station?
Yes.
How long were you inside Gate Gas Station talking to your boyfriend on the phone?
Talking to him on the phone,
Yes.
I had kept him updated throughout the whole process.
Okay. Telling him what's going on?
Right, because he was my manager at work where I was working, so I had to keep him updated on what was going on.
Okay. And do you recall where you were standing inside the Gate Gas Station when they brought you in?
I was standing in front of the counter.
Okay. And I know, and again, that gate's kind of odd. You walk in on an angle, and it's an L shape. Do you remember where in the L shape you were in relation?
Right in the corner
Okay.
of the two spots.
So as soon as you walked into the door, right there on your left,
Yes, sir.
right next to a cash register?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that there's video surveillance there?
Yes.
Okay. You aware if there's even audio surveillance there?
I am not aware.
Okay. But when you were in the store waiting to even talk to the police, you were still on the phone?
Yes.
Kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, even afterwards and you're in the store a length of time, it's still a chaotic, crazy scene?
Yeah.
People coming in and out?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're still on the phone talking to your boyfriend?
Throughout the process, yes, not the whole time.
Correct. And how long of a time frame were you in the Gate Gas Station?
I believe they let me go around 9 o'clock.
Okay. And you had got there obviously just after 7:40 when the shots were fired?
Right around there, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember how long you were outside before they told you to go inside?
No, sir.
And the officers never physically separated people. They just said, don't talk about it, correct?
Right.
But people were still talking inside the store?
Not about what had happened, but people were conversating, yes.
Right. And you were on your cell phone?
Not the whole time, but periodically.
No, I agree,
yes.
but you were using your cell phone?
Yes.
Were other people using their cell phone?
I don't recall.
All right. Were you even paying attention if they were?
No.
Okay. So we're not saying they weren't. You just don't know if they were because you weren't looking.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever do anything else other than what you've testified and what you told the police?
No.
And everything you've said here today is what you told the officers?
Yes.
Okay. And again, just for clarification, you couldn't identify any of the men in the SUV?
No, sir.
And again, you don't know what they were doing or where they were?
Nope.
Even prior to you going into the store?
No.
Even while you were in the store?
I mean, the group of people who they put in the gas station, we were all kind of in the same area.
Right.
In the front of the store.
And again, you don't know what's going on outside.
No.
But you do say people are still coming and going, it's a chaotic scene.
Right.
Nothing further, Judge, thank you.
Ms. Wilson, anything?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Ms. Eichas, you just stated, in response to one of Mr. Stroll's questions, that you were on the phone with your boyfriend?
In the gas station?
In the gas station,
Yes.
yes, ma'am. And that he was your assistant manager at the time?
Yes.
Were you having to explain to him where you were and where your work truck was?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
May she be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Stroll?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're excused. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude things for today. It's about 5:15. And as I mentioned to you, we will resume tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. So yes, you can put your notes in your envelope there, and then the bailiffs will take custody of those for the evening. And then you'll be able to go back to the jury room to pick up whatever belongings you have, and then be transported back to your accommodations. And thank you for your time and attention this afternoon and into the early evening. And we'll look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow morning. Remember, please do not discuss the case among yourselves or allow anyone to discuss the case with you. Obviously, do not look at television. I know that's kind of taken care of for you at the hotel, but just in case, don't watch television, don't read the newspapers, don't get on the internet. Watch out for banners going across the television set if you are watching some TV under certain supervision. And you understand all of that, and you remember my admonition, so keep that in mind. Y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you again.
Valerie, please remain seated.
All right, the jury is out of the courtroom. Anything else that we need to do this evening, Ms. Corey?
Your Honor, I would like to give Mr. Strolla a copy of the evidence list, which I furnished to the clerk. I'd like for him to come look. The rest of the physical exhibits, the way that we did this for the record is that we went to the property room, looked through everything, decided what was going to be prepared for trial. I'd like to get that done so tomorrow, just, or starting tomorrow, the next day, get everything just moved in without
Okay.
any issues. I can make it all available to him tonight or tomorrow morning, depending on what time you're going to start.
We're going to start at 9.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's up to you, Mr. Stroller, how you want to work that out with the state about looking at these things. Are they, I mean, you've seen most of it, haven't you?
I believe I've seen what's been packaged.
And all of it's basically, as I understand it, coming in without objection.
Unless there's something different.
Unless there's something, right, right. But so, thus far, it's without objection.
So far, yes.
I'm with you.
Okay.
All right, well, I mean, you work that out when, if you want to do it this evening or tomorrow, it doesn't matter to me, but I'd like to be done so that, yes, that will be accomplished, and then it'll make things continue to move along smoothly.
Yes, sir. And I will put the list in the electronic file for both of you, and also the depositions you all requested in that same electronic file.
Okay, that way I'll have a copy of them in case you, or anybody needs to use one for impeachment purposes.
Yes,
Anything from you, Mr. Stroller?
Judge, just briefly what we talked about in terms of any C witness, if if I can prove.
Right, I mean, is that what you
Yes.
still hear?
Yes, sir, and there is one other police officer who is designated as a seat witness. He's welcome to talk to either or both.
Are they here now?
I think Jack's Fire and Rescue's here, and I don't know that the officer is, but we'll provide him. He actually works in courthouse now. So we
Okay.
can find him.
As long as I can talk before they testify.
Sure, not a problem.
Listed as C, I couldn't prove it.
All right. Anything else from you, Mr. Stroller?
Not as of right now, no, no.
Mr. Dunn, any exceptions or objections to anything that's gone on today?
No, sir.
Happy with Mr. Stroller and his representation of you?
Very much so.
All right. Okay, well, then we'll be in recess until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Like, ask, like,